Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to episode 6, season 2 of the Bench Sheet. Over here we got the one, the only, Mr. George Niang. 20 in our playbooks, but 1 in our hearts.
Yeah, let's go.
As always, we are brought to you by MyBookie. Guys, the big game's coming up. It's a little game I like to call the bowl, the biggest bowl of all time.
What kind of bowl?
A super bowl. It's incredible. And MyBookie is where you can place all of your wagers. You want to find something fun? How about national anthem props? How long is it going to last? How about will anybody fall during the halftime? Do you remember when someone's boob came out during halftime?
Janet
Because that happened, and that was the first boob I ever saw. What about the color of Gatorade? The last 2 Super Bowls, Kansas City poured purple Gatorade. Did you know that? It's true. Bet on the Gatorade color. Maybe it's neon green. I don't know. What is your favorite Gatorade, by the way? Blue. There's a lot of different types of blue, but which commercial will appear first? Netflix, Amazon. Anyway, anything you need for the big game, go check them out. MyBookie, use promo code GrillGuy, sign up, get half of your deposit matched, and we are here in the one, the only Black Valve Coliseum.
Yeah, you had me convinced. I think I might actually go get on MyBookie. You know, you get 50% of it matched. The big games coming up. I'm a big football.
Yeah, football.
Better.
You're allowed to bet on football, and guess what? We'll get all the Cavs signed up tonight on MyBookie.
Yeah,
we'll have some big depositors so that they'll re-us up and stick with us,
dialed in.
If they know we got Cavs players that are going to bet only on football.
There's no better place to do it than at MyBookie. So you heard it here from this guy.
Yeah.
First, go in there, type in the promo code GrillGuy.
Yep, and that's it. Speaking of that being it,
no,
that is it.
That's not it, because there's been some catastrophes happening. There's been some noise in the NBA, and I ain't just talking about on the court. Big Kev, Grill Guy, MyBookie connoisseur. Talk to me. Well, talk to me about the Dallas Mavericks and how they traded away Luka Doncic for Anthony Davis, essentially.
It's so funny that Shams is new in this role, kind of, because it was a Woj bomb for so long.
Yeah.
I wonder if Woj
Shemansky.
tweeted that. I wonder if like so many people would have thought that it was fake, like because maybe Shams knew everyone thought it was fake. I thought it was fake when I first read it too. I'm like, there is no way they traded away a 25-year-old who just brought them to the conference finals and then the finals the last 2 years, who is a top 3 player in the league probably, averages 29 points per game. Like, what is going on in Dallas? I'm blown away as a fan. We all just started putting our tinfoil hats on, and it was like conspiracy theory time.
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to need a couple more days to think on this.
Yeah.
But I have like 7 different theories.
Give me like 2 theories that you thought.
You don't want to hear 7?
Okay, I'll hear 7.
No, I'll give you 2. I think it was more or less that, they just want to get a center When you think about like Anthony Davis and Luka Doncic, right? You like their productivity is almost like
similar.
You would say they're similar, but Luka Doncic is 25 in his prime. Yeah. Anthony Davis is 31. Like, how many more years are you getting that productivity, right? And I guess you wager that with, okay, well, everyone has a timeline or a life expansion on like your job, where you're going to be. So who's to say, like, if we're being real about this, like, who's to say, like, the general manager isn't like, okay, well, there's a new owner that brought in the team. Like, I'm going to go all in on the team that I think is going to win me a championship. And how people feel about different players is completely different than how me or you feel about players, right? He's more or less like, okay, I feel like Anthony Davis can take me to the top, with being an anchor on the defensive end and being able to, having a real force as a big man. I mean, he's a top 3 center, top 2, because Joel hasn't, really been in the mix right now. Yeah. And I'm sure, like, you're like, okay, Luka's great, but I also have Kyrie. So, at what point is he like, okay, I can make this work? And, if we're going to have a timeline of like 3 years of that we can win this, I'm going to go all in on, older veteran guys that are, going to get me there.
It's just so hard for me to believe that your team would be better or you have a better shot at winning when you get rid of arguably a top 2 or 3 player in the league.
Yeah, and the
It's
crazy
hard.
part is a lot of people are like, oh, they didn't want to give them the extension. I'm like, well, in the grand scheme of things, there's a lot of max contracts that are given out, super max, and there's, with player value, and you're like, okay, is that guy worth like $70, $80 million a year?
Yeah.
Luka Doncic probably is that one player that's worth every fucking penny of that.
And now he's not eligible for the Supermax, so he loses out on like $100 million, right? Like this is like, I mean, he'll probably still end up making it in his career. So like when they say he lost $100 million, it's not like he's going to be $100 million.
He had the opportunity to sign that, and now that he is traded, he is not eligible to sign that 5th year
Supermax.
Yeah, so now he'll probably end up signing like a 3-year 160, which all you at home do the math of.
Yeah, which is still a lot of money, and he'll probably end up making very similar money to what he would have as long as he stays on the path. But now it's not guaranteed. But that's the only thing that I'm thinking is like it's got to be a financial decision because like everyone's like, oh, it's conditioning. I mean, he just was in the finals, so clearly his conditioning wasn't that bad.
Said it best. He said, "Bill, I don't give a shit. He could be running up the court smoking a cigarette. I'd be like, when are we going to pay you?"
I know it's crazy to think that this is like a good trade, or it's hard to think that this is a good trade for the
this is
Mavericks.
going to have to play out.
It's going to have to play out. Yeah. I mean, it's like this is...
Because if you're Dallas, this either goes down as the wildest thing that's ever happened, or if you bring a championship back to Dallas, they're like...
worth it, I guess. I mean, right? Even if you get one. It's like the Raptors kind of... I don't want to say sold their soul to the devil, but they gave it.
Yeah, they knew what they were getting in for. Like, we are in this to win a championship.
We have 1 year.
Kawhi, we hope you come back, but
yeah, and they didn't. And
but they won a championship. Brought your first championship back.
But speaking of it having to play out, like it reminds me of when the Bears traded up to get Mitch Trubisky. It was like, what a stupid trade. This is the dumbest trade of all time.
That was the dumbest trade of all time.
If Mitch Trubisky was good, it wouldn't have been, right? So, but you couldn't, the point is, what I'm making is that at that moment when they traded up, shut up. At that moment when they traded up, you couldn't tell if it was a good trade or bad trade. So right now, we can't tell if it's a good trade or bad trade. We just can't. So it's going to have to play out.
Kevin, those, I love you. I honestly do, but there's no correlation to those.
Those are both people saying this is a horrible trade.
Two proven stars are being flopped. This is the first time in NBA history that 2 all-NBA players have been traded for each other mid-season.
Correct, especially when one just went to the finals. I'm agreeing with you. What I'm saying is that the talk
Leave Mitchell Trubisky out of this.
He's made a good career as a backup. We shouldn't have traded up to the 3rd spot to get him. Anyway, not the only trade that went down. And I want to get back to this Maverick stuff because I do want to talk a little bit more about the basketball side of things.
Let's keep harping on the Maverick stuff because I wanted to talk about how the Lakers
what are the Lakers going to look like?
Yeah, we talked a lot about the Mavs, but the Lakers were in a situation where their assets were LeBron, Austin Reeves, Rui Hachimura, and AD, right? LeBron, older, he's still playing at an extremely high level, but now you relinquish those assets or an asset with a 25-year-old that people are not understanding. This guy is a first-team All-NBA player, and he's 25 years old. For 5 years in a row, he's been first-team All-NBA.
Yeah.
So, think about what Mikal Bridges got 5 first-round picks. So if the Lakers wanted to turn around and be like, hey, this ain't working, and, just think about what you could get
if he gets shot to the whole NBA.
Yes, because before that, they didn't really have much. It was more like, hey, how can we get assets? How can we do this? We gave away picks, da-da-da. And now you're kind of on the Luka Doncic timeline. Yeah. I don't know if you're on the LeBron. It's not like, hey, when is LeBron ready to? It's now or less, okay, like LeBron and Luka can coincide, but when LeBron's done, this is Luka's
I think a lot of people are thinking that way, that just like, oh, wow, the Lakers' future is bright. And not a lot of people are talking about what the Lakers could end up doing this year. Like, they're the 5th seed they're not a bad basketball team. And LeBron James just went off for 33, 11, and 12 at the Garden the other night. Dude is balling. Like, they could make some noise this year, and the trade deadline's not over. They probably still need a good piece in the middle, but they have those outside shooters and Ruri and Reeves. It's like, yeah, they're two ball dominant guards, but I mean, who says it can't work,
Yeah, and then, you just think about Luka's triple doubles, his 50-point games. When that's going to be done in the crypto arena in LA with all that media coverage.
Gosh.
Wow. And that's impressive. And shout out to the Jazz for getting in on that
the
trade.
Funniest tweet I saw was like, my favorite part about this trade is Danny Ainge just getting two second round picks like a crackhead. He just sneaks in there like a crackhead. Just gets 2 picks. Like,
let me get up in there. Let me get them picks. Let me get them assets. Danny Ainge has more assets than anyone in the history of life. Shout out Danny Ainge.
But you got to give credit also to the Lakers, who it seems like every 5 years there's a blockbuster trade, and they just get someone huge. And it's like, how does this keep happening? I guess like Rob Pelinka's good at his job. I'm not really.
No, that was a great. It was a great trade. Definitely, for the Lakers, you get a top 3 player in the NBA, and by the way, you regain some assets that you shipped away a lot to get Anthony Davis, right? The Josh Harts, the Kyle Kuzmas, the Brandon Ingram, the Julius Randles, not Kyle Kuzma. Sorry. Yeah. So you kind of recoup those assets, and then kind of you flipped it and got Luka back, and now it'll be interesting to see how that works out moving forward. Dallas, now you're in a win now. Like, you are like, we're going all in on this right now. So it's going to be a sprint to the finish line for them.
Do you think they're done, or do you think Dallas still has to make another move? Or, it's like
I don't know. You get Kyrie, Clay, Anthony Davis, Daniel Gafford. We'll see how that works. I mean, those guys
PJ Washington.
PJ Washington, Quentin Grimes. They have real playoff experience, so we'll see. But that wasn't the only move that's
another
been done.
Big one.
Those little devious San Antonio Spurs, man, they're out there acquiring picks, giving picks back to teams to then get.
It was, I think, a 7-player, 7-pick, 3-team trade
to get De'Aaron Fox, and they really didn't have to give up too many players.
First off,
or assets. They gave Chicago back their first-round pick that Chicago had traded to them.
Chicago?
And I know you want to say stuff about Chicago. So
I do want to say one thing about Chicago, just because I saw this.
To talk about the Chicago Bulls.
Because I want to get back to this trade, because I really like this trade for the Spurs. But over the last 12 months, the Bulls extended P. Will to a $90 million deal, traded DeMar DeRozan for nothing, didn't acquire a single draft pick from the Alex Caruso trade. That was the most egregious one, I think. They gave Alex Caruso for Josh Giddey, and it was like, most people would have said you should at least got some picks back for that. They switched over to Chicago Sports Network without any streaming deals in place, and they traded Levine to get their own pick back. I mean,
I guess that'll let you control your own destiny, because now you'll just be like, all right, we'll lose. It's maybe kind of genius, though.
Yeah,
because if you just like tank the rest of the year, like we're losing every single game, you could get Cooper Flagg or
which would be awesome. I think Cooper would be great there, and I think Matas Bazelis, whatever his name is, he's a pretty good player. But
he's going to be in the slam dunk contest.
Is he? Are you excited for that?
Yeah, go get it done, young fella.
Yeah, it seems like the Bulls, since like Derrick Rose gave us like a few years of excitement.
Hope.
Yeah, the Chicago fan base, a few years of excitement. It's been downhill since then. Okay, I do like De'Aaron Fox going to the Spurs. But my question is, what is happening in Sacramento? Tyrese Halliburton, De'Aaron Fox, both gone now, and they kind of have like some older. I don't want to say Levine and DeRozan are like past their prime, but they're older.
Isn't it funny that the Levine and DeRozan thing, they just like switched uniforms? Like, it's like we were in Chicago together and now we're in Sacramento.
No, they're just back in Sacramento.
And the thing that people like made a fit about, it was like, well, once Lonzo Ball gets back and they have a point guard it's going to work. And it's like, well, now in Sacramento, they made this trade. They gave away one of their franchise guys, and now they have Malik Monk running the one.
I know, dude. Yeah. And it's like 2 years ago, they were the 3rd seed in the West going into the playoffs and were like seemingly a really tough out. I think they lost to the Grizzlies that year in like a tough series. And it's like, what the fuck happened? It's hard. That's another place where it just seems like people can't wait to get out of there. I don't know anything about the people over there. Nothing, not saying anything bad about them, but it's like
we're still fans.
I'm kind of happy.
We're still light the beam all the way.
I'm just kind of happy that De'Aaron Fox is out of there in a place where I think he's going to team up with Wemby foreseeably for a long time together. It's going to be fun watching them play together. I think De'Aaron Fox is a really good player, and I'm pumped for him. What do you think about the Spurs?
Yeah, I mean, to keep pretty much all your assets, you had a multitude of picks that you gave back just one, and you didn't have to give up any players, and you got. I think he's been all NBA, right? He's been an all-star. He's
he's a stud
level point guard, and to have that next to Wemby. Now all you got to do is really just a couple more pieces, and you can start making a push. Wemby's going to be around for a long time, so there's no real rush. He may go through a couple point guards with how long he'll be able to play, but I was impressed by the San Antonio Spurs. Heck of a job by them in the trade market.
Is there anybody just in like a fake fantasy world?
Let me say this: you give a lot of heat towards like the Bulls and different things like that. The Bulls may actually just be like, hey, we're cutting our losses and starting from the beginning. Recoup our pick, and then we'll start from the beginning. Like, hey, we messed up.
You know what? Sometimes that's the right thing to do.
Which sometimes is better than trying to hold on and just continue to dig your hole rather than be like, hey, listen, we messed up. So it may not be as bad as Chicago as like you were.
That's true. And I am excited for Kevin Huerter to be,
yes, red velvet.
Red velvet in a red jersey.
Shoot that ball.
The bobblehead night of Kevin Huerter in a red Bulls jersey, they could do something fun there. They got to figure that out. Whenever that is, we got to get our hands on that.
Yes. Kevin, if you're listening, I know you are an avid listener of the Benchy Park. We would love to get the red-headed, red jersey Chicago Bulls bobblehead.
And he played for Maryland, right? He was a Terp. So
what is red about?
The Terps are red and black.
Oh, but
yeah, come on, dude. Okay, let's get to a little bit of what's going on with your team. Last night, your boy Sam Merrill, the pride of the state of Utah,
the Great White Hope,
goes off for
9 of them.
9 of 13, I think it was, for 27 points. I think he did take
14,
1 2.
9 of 14.
Yeah, but 9 of 13 from 3. He took 1 2-point shot, I think. Anyway, either way. 9 fucking threes. You guys tie a record for, or I think you get a franchise record for 26 threes in a game. You had 91 points in the first half. What are games like that like?
I mean, let's put this in context. The Dallas Mavericks just traded away Luka Doncic. So let's just say the emotional low that was going on over there. Mind you, the guy that they had just traded for wasn't available, so neither was half their team. So that was kind of a tough spot for those guys to be in. They played hard. Obviously, in those games, we're out there trying to be like, all right, let's nip this in the bud quick. Early. Because you don't want this to linger where, guys start making shots, and next thing you know, your starters have to play real minutes because we have, it's All-Star breaks coming up. We have some games that, we need to win or focusing on winning moving forward. So we wanted to kind of get that let it be known that we're going to impose our will from the beginning. And we had a 50-point quarter and then a 41-point quarter. And when you score 90 in the first half, it's kind of...
Is that the most you've ever scored in a half?
Yeah, I think the record was like 93 in an NBA half.
Is that what the record?
Yeah, it was like almost like an All-Star game.
Dude.
Cleveland Cavaliers All-Stars. Cleveland Cavaliers All-Stars.
Yeah, I was looking to see if you guys were going to hit that 100 because you were at 50 in the first quarter. Or it was over 50, I think, wasn't it?
It was 50.
Really impressive. And seeing like a bunch of different guys do it. Like Darius started off really hot. It's like, and next thing you know, like all of a sudden Sam Merrill has 27 points. It's like when people get in, is the vibe kind of like, all right, I'm going to go off too here a little bit.
I'm going to do mine.
Is that kind of the vibe?
No, I think you're just playing the right way, and it's unfortunate. Sometimes in the long NBA season, teams have to go through spurts where guys are injured or guys aren't playing, or it's the trade deadline, and you kind of get caught where the other team's hot. You don't really have your star power or willpower over there, and it was one of those nights for Dallas. Hopefully, they can get home and recoup. Because
I just remember one time I was a high school basketball coach, and we had this was in Brooklyn, and I was coaching high school. We lost a game 121 to 19 at home.
100 what?
121 to 19.
You're the worst coach ever.
So I will say, there is nothing worse when a team is just completely dominating you, and then they're talking about things that have nothing to do with the game. Do you know what I'm talking about? Do you remember, you probably did this to teams in high school. You would punch a team by
and be like, hey, bro, hey, what about that pizza shop down the street? Is that pretty good?
Yeah.
Tilton House of Pizza? No, that's good. Oh, okay, cool.
Or people be like, they'd go to their team and be like, yo, watch this one, watch this. And they just cross somebody up and score. You're like, bro, you guys, we don't even have a fucking shot out here.
Yeah. Are we done talking about high school basketball?
Yeah. Anyway, I assume last night it was like that.
Yeah,
it felt like that.
Oh, actually, when you talk about it, we're going to talk about Al's Family Diner in Methuen, Massachusetts. Shout out my
Is
people
that your
down
people?
at Al's Family Diner, yeah.
And shout out AM Hoops, which is the basketball run that I go to. We'd like to get you out there. Your boy Greg Vetrano.
Yeah, shout out Greg. He'd be a good one to ask about Al's Family Diner in
he
Methuen,
knows,
Massachusetts.
It's
a hidden gem. There's not many things in Methuen, Massachusetts, but Al's Family Diner. They've been taking care of me since, I was playing hockey. I think I was in the third grade, and it was in a little trailer.
Really?
And now they moved.
Now is this
they moved out to a place called Whirlaway.
Okay. Is this a true diner, pancakes whenever you want?
Yes, whatever you need. Go in there.
What's your diner order
when you have it? Probably the breakfast sandwich, which has all the meats on there.
Oh yeah, sausage, bacon.
Yes.
Pancakes.
Over easy, egg, drizzle down on a bagel, and then 3 buttermilk pancakes. But I ain't been eating that lately.
No, that's just your cheat day.
Like Gunna said, today I did good. I ain't been eating no bullshit. No, but anyway,
it's important that we talk about diner orders because you can tell a lot about somebody with their diner order. I know someone that goes and gets French toast with sour cream and does sour cream and syrup on the French toast.
That person, are you sure that's not butter?
No, it's sour cream.
That person needs
help,
assisted living, a psych ward.
And this is after a night of drinking too. It's after a night of drinking an omelet or something, this dude was slopping up fucking sour cream.
That's disgusting.
Okay, anyway, I do want to talk. We haven't hinted on your absolute skid that you hit as a Cavs team where you lost a full 3 games in a
to
row.
The same team, 2 of them to the same team.
And that's happened twice this year.
And then we lost in Philly to a depleted Philadelphia team.
And you were up in that game. What is my question obviously is even though it's 3 games and I'm not in, I don't see the Cleveland media, so I don't know what they were saying, but does it feel for a second we got to get the shit together? Or do people make it seem like the world's
falling? If you were to be on social media, you would feel like the world is falling. And it's okay, we lost to the Houston Rockets and had an opportunity to make free throws to win it. So technically, we could have won that. Yes. Did we not rebound? Did we not play as well as we... Sure, we can make all the excuses. We lost the game. Damn, that sucked. Then we go to Philadelphia, and they're hungry and fighting for wins, and we didn't handle business. I mean, I got in there, missed a 3, missed a layup in crunch time, and we ended up losing. Trust me, nobody wanted to win more in Philadelphia than this guy. Trust me.
Bang, the
I was not trying to hear that. Clap your hands, everybody, for Philadelphia. No, I wasn't trying to hear that. And then you follow that up by coming home and playing the Houston Rockets, who we had just lost to. And mind you, put this all in perspective. It's getting to the point of the year where we've played 40-plus games.
Yeah.
And it's exhausting, right? You think about, how the season, our weeks are Monday game, Wednesday game, Thursday game, Sunday game, 4 games a week.
Yeah.
For the last 12, 13 weeks. It's grueling, and we're traveling all over. Take a Sharpie and just draw all over the United States. That's where we're going. And, obviously we came out a little sluggish, which is not great.
But happens.
Yeah, they took a 20-point lead. We ended up coming back and tying it. And then there's just some plays down the stretch that we didn't make, and we ended up losing. And after that, I think, Kenny did a good job of kind of reeling us in, being like, hey, this isn't the end of the world, but these are the 3 things that we need to really start putting our energy towards, and taking care of the basketball, winning, the rebounding game, and actually bringing up our intensity on the defensive end. And, credit to him, because most coaches feel the pressure too. Like, I think anybody, when your name is attached on it, right? When you're winning, you get the credit, but also when you're a coach, you're losing, like, it falls on you, right? And I think he's just done a good job of really dialing in and singling in on, hey, these are 3 things I know that if we put effort and energy into, that are going to make us better and help us win games. And
he's right about those things. Like, you focused on things clearly. Yeah. It seems like you guys are right back to where you are.
Yeah, no, I think it's just, you kind of, when you start getting off the beaten path, you kind of get veered right back onto where you're going.
It seems like that is the difference, between really good teams and okay teams in the NBA, are like, every team's going to have a few game skid, but who can make sure that few game skid is like 2 or 3 and not 8 or 9?
Yeah. No, or 20 or 20 or 25, where you're like, what guy am I going to get tonight? I think that's the biggest thing in the NBA, is what you try to avoid, especially for me, is like, I don't want to be the guy like, which guy am I getting tonight? Am I getting one that is like, inconsistent, or, not a lot of energy? I try to be a guy that's like, okay, I'm going to give you a lot of energy. I'm going to be flying around, talking shit, hopefully making threes.
Well, it's funny you say that, George Yang, because in the 4 of your last 5 games, you have been in double figures.
Yeah.
And you're back over 40% from the 3-point line, which is...
Bang, bang, niang.
I mean, people have to realize how hard it is to shoot 40% from the 3-point line in an NBA season. You are there. And not only that, my friend, you are averaging a career high in rebounds as well. Did you know this? 3.7 rebounds. The numbers aren't showing it, but I also think you're making like 2 or 3 passes a game that I'm like, damn, that's a good fucking pass. Talk to me a little bit about
Man, that's a really good jolly pass.
That pass you made to, who was it? To Jarrett Allen.
Yeah, the bounce pass?
The bounce pass? Sheesh. Yeah. And that was like...
We like to Pete Maravich goes 5-star basketball camp, ABA camp.
Shout out East ABA Coast. Camp. Did you go to that one? The East Coast? I never got invited. I wasn't very good.
Yeah, you probably went to
I went to Hoop Group.
They stole your money.
Yeah, and I paid to go to those things. Okay, let's talk a little bit about what's going on around the league. A couple teams that I want to get your take on. The Grizzlies are playing some great basketball, even without Ja. They had a big game. I forget who they...
the Rockets. They beat the Rockets.
They beat the Rockets last night. Scored like 130 points or something without Ja. Obviously, they have an all-star in Jackson, but... like, how come no one's talking about the Grizzlies, it feels like? And I think they're like 3rd or 4th in the West. They're like a kind of a scary team.
They are, do such a good job of, I want to say, like, player development down there, that they have literally, the depth that they have is like 12, 13 guys. One guy goes down, you're like, the other guy comes in and has 20 points.
Scottie Pippen Jr.?
Yeah.
Okay.
No, he's been great. Those guys are doing a tremendous job down there. Credit to Taylor Jenkins. He seems like a phenomenal coach, and he's done a great job of kind of just dialing those guys in on winning habits, because it's been really impressive seeing them, execute. Especially with like a star power player like Ja Morant in and out of the lineup.
It's got a shoulder thing now, I think.
Yeah, and they've just been able to, this guy came from here, Gigi Jackson, 2nd round pick.
Desmond Bane is like an all NBA guy. I mean,
his playmaking, his decision making has really grown. I think it's really impressive. Obviously, kind of like how we were, you don't get a lot of the credit until you get it done in the playoffs.
Yeah.
And that's kind of where the Grizzlies are. We're kind of in the same boat. They're playing really good during the year, but like, let's see it in the playoffs.
Speaking of playoffs, a team you're probably going to, for a lot of people think you might face in the playoffs, are the Boston Celtics. I think your 3rd matchup with them this year. I think you're 1-1,
yes,
right?
we are 1-1.
Big matchup tomorrow night. What's without giving away too much, what's the kind of game plan? What are you guys focusing on against the C's tomorrow night?
Yeah, I think you just want to slow them down right there, high-powered offense, and they do a lot of good things on the defensive end to kind of junk up the game, right? They can switch a lot of different screening actions, ball screens, and they also have multiple guys that can defend multiple positions, which, helps negate the advantages that you would have by playing pick and roll or, off ball screening. They can just switch and stay in their spot. So I think obviously not letting them get to their spots offensively, and then, offensively kind of doing what we're doing, spacing them out, making threes, and
getting charge calls on Jason Tatum because he pushes off.
Jason, I know you're watching this, and you pushed off. And that was an in-season tournament game, and I really could have used that.
And I think they're going to
in-season game.
I mean, you have one thing I got to give you credit for. You have no qualms switching off on anybody. You're quick to do it. You'll be 30 feet from the basket. You'll switch off on a guard. What's up?
Yeah, here we go.
So, it's it opens yourself up, right? But I will say you do a very good job of jumping to where people are going to go, and it's tough to see. Tatum's going to get calls because he's an incredible player, an incredible basketball
player. But he did push me.
But he did push you, and now it's on House of Highlights that you got.
Yeah, thanks House of Highlights, Bleacher Report. Don't get any cool points for pushing Niang over.
So hopefully they'll call it tomorrow night. Yeah, I'm excited for that matchup. It's a rubber match. I think you may play one more time in Boston.
Yes, we
April.
do. We play them 4 times altogether.
So let's see how this goes.
Let's go. I'm excited.
A lot of teams are going to be. I'm sure the Rocket Mortgage Fieldhouse is going to be
phenomenal,
crazy tomorrow night.
Second to none. Rocket Mortgage Fieldhouse. It's changed its name a couple times, but Rocket Mortgage Fieldhouse gets fucking
Lit.
Banging, dude.
30 years.
Banging, dude.
And hopefully we'll get some more of you and TT at the end of the game. Okay, we do have some fan questions sent in that I'd like to ask.
I always get nervous about these because,
Because you haven't been briefed on them yet?
Yeah, because you usually just say some off-the-wall stuff.
Like this. Someone said, I'm pretty sure this is to me because it's not you. Why were you born chinless? That's not very nice. Yeah. I do have a very small chin.
We're not even going to give you any attention, so nice try.
No, I do want to address it. As long as a camera doesn't get my profile, you can't really tell. But when you get my profile, my neck kind of just like melts into my mouth. And it's like it's a Spurs thing. My father has a little small chin too. My brother, we all have small chins. So fuck you, Real Kenny, NYC. That guy sucks. This is an important one, and you don't need to be briefed on this. What is your take on the hot dog situation? Are hot dogs a sandwich? This is I want you to stop and think about this for a second.
No, they're not.
You say hot dogs are not a sandwich.
Hot dogs are not a sandwich because I look at a sandwich as like 2 pieces of bread, right? Space all around, 2 pieces. Hot dog, I cut half the bun open, slide it in there. So either it is a sub.
Okay, so he gave the sub argument there.
Sandwich or 2 pieces of bread, sandwich. I put my mayo, tomato, lettuce over here. I put my meat over here, and what do?
You put your what over there?
My meat. I put my meat. Hey, I'll put my meat over here.
One of the best videos in the history of the internet.
Bro, don't stop getting off topic.
No, I'm talking about the hot dog.
Sandwich.
I'm talking about the hot dog.
It's not a sandwich.
The best argument.
It's not a fucking sandwich.
The best argument for it not being a sandwich comes from this internet video. It's like these kids on like a football team on the bus, which is like just the best times of your life. And this kid's like, yo, is a hot dog a sandwich? And the other kid's like, a hot dog's not a sandwich because if you take away the bread, it's still a hot dog. And then the whole bus is like, oh, shit. Nothing is better when like teenage kids get hyped up over the dumbest shit.
I love that. Well.
Okay, wait, I have one more question. This is a basketball one, so we should ask it. Who was your favorite Sixer to play with? Play with. A lot of good choices.
I'm going to have to go with, I was really close with Tobias, James Harden, Joel, but I'm definitely going to have to go with the one, the only, the golden child, Tyrese Maxey. I mean, you aren't going to find a better human And I think he shows that day in and day out, whether they're losing, winning, draw. He's playing his heart out. His braids are swinging all over the place, that infectious smile. He's a great dude, phenomenal person, has a great family.
Snubbed. You can't say that. I'll say it. Tyrese Maxey, you got snubbed. I mean, obviously, everybody who made the All-Star team is deserving. They all had great seasons.
The thing is that they're putting more value in the team. You have to help the team win. Also, he's trying. I get that.
Yeah, but I don't want to say because those are your people, but it's like,
okay,
no one's playing over there. You know what I mean? It's like he's by himself.
No one's playing.
Nobody's fucking playing. So it's Tyrese on an island.
With that being said, Tyrese, we love you. I'm sad that you didn't make it, but the fact that you came out and said that you were happy for everybody that did, we love you over here at the bench sheet. But with that being said, we're out.
Peace.